And I'm sure that's been a frustrating afternoon. Was it just a little bit of a bridge too far with the sort of amount of personnel you've got available and crucially the amount you've got missing?
Yeah, you could say that. But probably the worst that we've probably played for a while. But you're seeing it for what it is. So I'll be proud of them. They had a goal. But you can't give a team a goal after the first minute, and then you can't give a team a goal in the next 2 minutes in the second half. So we did. And then we didn't take the chances. And you could say, "Oh, we've said that," but I've said that in the past when we've won games, and I've said that when we've lost games, whatever it is. So it's simple football. You've just got to be able to do your job. I think with them, you can't take any credit away from them as well. They came to do a job. They had a game plan. They played to a certain structure. Once they got the goal, they sort of sat in a sort of bit of a low block, stayed compact, forcing us to do what we done. I just thought our decision making was poor at times, and then the execution of what we were trying to do was poor as well. So, but not overall. They had to go and competed. So you can congratulate Shrewsbury.
Yeah, I think both teams came into this game with plenty of momentum and plenty of confidence after the runs you've been on. You've done it yourself, haven't you, this season, to teams scoring really early and setting down that marker. I guess being on the other side of it is really difficult, especially I think it was like 30 seconds.
It is, because you're actually, as you said, we go into detail, me and Jed, about the players and about the team you're playing against. So we know what certain lads are doing, and we know what our lads should be doing against that, but we didn't today for whatever reason, and the ball ends up in the back of your net after 30 seconds, so that was disappointing. But after that, we've created a couple of chances, and we know lads should score. Freddie definitely should score from a corner from an header, and Alex Henderson should score on the back post with an header. And I think there was another opportunity as well. And then if I went into the second half, I know definitely Charlie Brown should score from a header, from a cross. So we've had opportunities that we didn't take, but they battled away. And as I said, under the circumstances, you've got to give them credit, and you've got to give us credit in terms of what the lads have been doing.
That first half, you mentioned there, you created the chances. I think you'd had quite a few corners as well. You had more of the ball. I guess that gets kind of flipped on its head as soon as you concede the second goal. And I think inside the stadium we could feel it once you conceded that second goal, that it was just such a big task to get back in it.
Yeah, it was. But at the same time, you've just said everything there. Is like the biggest stat's the scoreline, isn't it? And it's. I know we've had all the ball. I know we've had probably more shots. I know we've had all more corners, probably because only what I've seen. If it was close, I'd have to have a look at the stats myself. But what I've seen today is that we have had more of the ball, but we just didn't. It was just our decision making with it today. As I said, we stuck at it. We were dogged. We're limited in terms of what we can do going forward with it. But they had to go, the lads. They dug in. They tried the best. But your back's against the wall when you concede after 30 seconds or a minute, if you're under a minute, and then 2 minutes into the second half.
Obviously, it's well documented how many you are missing. You had to recall a couple from loan spells this week to have them on the substitutes bench there. How difficult has it been preparing for this game with the numbers you've got? I mean, if we're talking senior players, we're probably talking 14, 15, aren't we?
It is. It's very difficult, but the evidence is there to see, isn't it? And as I said, the lads will try the best. The lads that come in try the best. But unfortunately, not today. It wasn't good enough.
And I just wanted to mention Charlie Brown there. I think that's his first start since October. How difficult is it to come in and play a League Two game and play 90 minutes like that when you've not played regularly?
It is. It's difficult. I touched on it. It's difficult for Josh Schmidt as well. Touched on it with Freddie. Freddie coming back and getting minutes here and there, and sort of they're not up to game speed because they haven't got game legs. They've got training legs, but it's totally different. So it's always difficult. That's on us really putting them in, but you've got no other options to do that. The footballers, you train them, and you can train them as much as you can, but it's totally different when you go out there and you play the game. Your levels of fitness all of a sudden come down because of the demand of the game itself. So the lads tried the best, and it's as simple as that. As I said, Charlie probably disappointed with himself because he could have scored from a header. But as I said, I'm not going to be too down on them all because they've done absolutely brilliant for this club up to now.